Hello all, welcome to the session. Last session we saw how to create a stateless service fabric application, and we also saw how to deploy the same in the local cluster and also in the cloud cluster. So ideally, you don't really want to expose your individual services to the endpoint and client accessing that. How you would ideally have a gateway, and behind the gateway you will have all your services in place. So the client, when he tries to access any of the services, he would get a single entry point, that is your web gateway. So in this session we'll try to build a gateway which will then internally talk to those service fabric services and then give out the result back to the client application. So we're going to do something like this, where we will have a single web service which is exposed through the load balancer, and this web service would internally talk to all our stateless or stateful services. Right now we only have stateless, so we will be creating a stateless web application as a front-end gateway. So let's get started. Visual Studio. So I have two services which are how we created. The geography service, the product service is exactly the same, it's just that it returns the different types of object on the JSON. So let's go in here, add a new service fabric service. Even this would be a stateless application service core. I'll call it gateway. Okay. Gateway service fabric. It is going to be a web API. Takes a couple of seconds before it pops up. Yep. It's a standard ASP.NET Core application, like any other application. So this application, first of all, needs to know about all the other services. So we need something in place to determine all the other services within, which is a part of this sample. So how do we do that? So let me go into package road and add all those names of the other services that are in a part of this application in here in the application parameters. So you could directly punch in the values here, or you can make it flow from the app manifest. So I'll keep it simple and add it here. I already have created one, so let me just copy paste here. So if you see, all it does is I've given a parameter name, and the value of each parameter is the name of the service, geography service and the product service. And if you remember, we talked about reverse proxy port when we actually set up the cluster in cloud. We set up a reverse proxy port as 19081, which kind of is the way how a particular application within the service fabric cluster talks to other applications in the service fabric cluster. So we want this also in place, so just added them. Now I need to create a class which kind of pulls this configuration information, and also I need something in place to pull it up when something changes. So let me just create a class as config settings. I have the code for this as well. Let me just do this. Missing references, let me just add them. That's complaining them system.configuration. I think I just don't need the system configuration. The configuration settings should be coming from system.fabric.description. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So if we just look at this class, all this does is it subscribes to the A1 code package activation context modified. So whenever that particular file gets modified, it kind of triggers an event and gets it. So initially, and then gotta read those values and then keep it whenever it is needed. So if you see here, I'm just going to that section which is in the settings file and reading all those configuration values. That's it, nothing else. As simple as that. Okay, I have this in place. Now let's create a controller, yeah, which in turn talks to my geography services. Yeah, so let me just right click here, add a controller, new dependencies. It takes some time to set up the column scaffolding. Right click, add a new controller, I'll add an empty controller. I'll call that as geography controller. That's all the scaffolding and it is here. So I have this code set up as well. Let me just quickly do this. Okay, paste it. Okay, let me pull in all the references that are needed. So it's Fabric, HTTP client, and Service Fabric. These are the four major components that are needed. So you can see I have set the route for geography controller, config settings is the class that we have set up, service the context of the service, need a HTTP client and a Fabric client. So I have a constructor and I have all these as input parameters, which I think we will be pushing it through dependency injection into this controller. So we will set that up later. So once I have those pieces in place, this is the most important method which kind of does all the work for me. It kind of resolves a service fabric URI. If you can see, it gets the application name and then it just reads my geography service name from the configuration file. So once that service URI is set up, I need to generate a proxy URL for my service. So this is how I do it. Since the service fabric applications are hosted within the VMs, they can talk to each other through localhost IP. So I have got this one, and then I'm going to talk to other services through reverse proxy port. So I'm going to get that value from the config file again, and then I'm going to just replace the URL. And then if you remember, right, this was the route to get a geography in my other application. So I just have set that up, and I just create a instance of HTTP client and pass in the URL and check for the source status code. If the status code is okay, and then I just return the values. So that's it with my controller. That's it with my controller. Now I need to set the dependency injection for all these values. So where do I do that? Let me check. I think I can do that, and my gateway class does. Yep, this is where I do it. So let me just quickly come here. What are the parameters I need? Add singleton. I need my config settings to be set up as a singleton. Just let me new it up. But English. Config settings. Then it takes in service context as a parameter. That's it. Need to add then what else was it expecting? Done. singleton. I need to send out a HTTP client. I'm just gonna move that up. And then add a singleton of service fabric client. Okay, let me just see what that was. It was a fabric client. Just go back there. Fabric client. New it up. Let me just check if I've set this up right. It's okay. Let me just deploy this into my local cluster. Local cluster is up and running. Take some time to publish. Running the script. Registering the application tab. You can see all the logs in here. Meanwhile that's happening, we can just go into Cloud Explorer as well. This is one way to look into the cluster. I have the local cluster running. In here it says application deployed. I can see the application in here. Friday service fabric sample. I can see my gateway is up and running. Let's see in which node it is actually running. Can't really do that. You can see all the nodes and stuff like that. So let us just try and browse the application. Localhost the Explorer. How I get running in node 1 8653. You know the router. So graphic. So through the application, through the gateway application, I'm able to talk to the other service fabric application, that is my geography service, and then pull the data and give it to the client. So this is working fine. Let's just check if the actual 8081 API / geo. Yep, it's pretty much the same one. So both the API and the gateway is sending me the same data, but remember, right, I don't really want my client to be accessing this one. So I want my client only be talking to this particular gateway and not the API directly. So let me just, if I remember right, we kind of configured I just logged into my portal. When you go into the portal, resource groups, resources, and the load balancer. Let me just, where is my load balancer? Yep, here it is. So if I go to help probes, you saw I have exposed 80, 81, 82, and 83 to the external world. So I don't really want people to access my services other than the gateway directly. So to do that, let me make some changes. So what I'll do is I'll go to package drawer in the manifest and I say here this is the one that gets the port 8081. I go to geography services manifest and I remove the port and I change the type from input to internal. So what this says is the port gets dynamically assigned and the services which are calling within the service fabric cluster can talk to this particular service through HTTP protocol. So let's just try and deploy this to the cloud environment and see if our gateway is working. I tap on publish cloud. Let me check. I have this endpoint tested. It is working. Let me publish it. It's trying to publish. It takes some time. Just come back once it's done. Okay, if you're back, you can see the publish is successful. We'll just go into the Explorer and check how it is. Get in here, towards the scroll, Friday, the Explorer, just close all the local ones. Okay, I have one node, an application is running all in green. I have 3 services running. This is the new one. And I have my geography service running. Okay, so if you can see here, this thing is not updated yet. Yeah, okay, it's updated now. Like we configured the gateway is working on port 8081. Since we removed the port and marked it as internal, since the reason why it got dynamically assigned port is because we removed the port. So, but if you come back and check into the portal and remember what we the custom endpoints that we endpoint ports that we configure, 2000 is not part of it. So there's no way for an external application to talk to my geography services because 2000 is not enabled as a endpoint port. So that just makes it inaccessible. So the only way people can access it is through this particular port. Let's just go and see if it is working. Just remove this, give it as 8081 slash the gateway slash geography. Yep, we are able to access it. Let's quickly check if we can access the other one as well. Let's just give it a try. 200,000 slash API slash geo. It tries to ping, but it cannot. So let me go back to the Explorer and see what's with the product service. Not quite sure what was the node. That is 8082. So this application, this service should still be available for people to access. If I say API slash product, yes, this is accessible because not marked it as internal and remove the port. So once you do that, then you just make it inaccessible to the outside world. So I guess that's it for the session. We created the API gateway and we disabled our services to be accessible from the outside world. So this is not the only way to do it. There is an offering from Azure called as like I said in one of my previous sessions. There is an offering from Azure to do the similar kind of stuff without having to write any code at all. So let me just see what that Yes, I think it's called Azure API Management. Okay, this is a really cool offering. It's got awesome features and it's worth exploring. So, it has got first-class integration with Service Fabric, and it is not related limited to Service Fabric itself. It can work to any kind of API that you created just out of the box API gateway. You go check this out. Now I'm going to create a video series on this as well. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining.